Hello everyone, this is the story of what if Naruto hunts Kurenai in the dark. Stolen Sun. Hanabi and Neji walk side by side down the street. Hanabi had just shed their day at the academy and it was Neji's turn to take her home. Hinata was finished with her team training but has some chores to do at home. So what happened today Hanabi-sama? He asked. Not much, same old. Hanabi replied. I was hoping we'd learn some new jutsu or something. Patience Hanabi-sama, Neji told her. All your hard work will pay off one day, look at Naruto and Hinata-sama. You're right, Hanabi giggled. If I'm going to be like my sister I'd better keep working at it. Neji just gave her a smile as they continued the walk back to the main house. Opening the front gate, their eyes widen. Hanabi, stay here, don't move, I'll get help. Neji quickly ran down the road as Hanabi drops to her knees looking at the sight. Guy-sensei. Neji called out. Guy, and Lee turned to see him running fast towards them. Neji. What's wrong? The Hyuga clan been attacked. What? Lee, get help. Neji, take me to them, Guy ordered. Yes sir. Lee Ns off as Neji lead Guy to the main house. Neji and Guy race through the streets. Guy can sense much disturbance within Neji as they come to their destination. They hear loud crying as they look through the door. The floor was full of Hyugas, all of which have been cut several times over seemingly from all possible angles on their skin and all around the building as blood oozes from the bodies. Quickly going deeper, they find Hanabi at Hiyashi's side. Father! Hanabi cried out as she looks over her father's unmoving body. He was the only one awake out of all the Hyugas that were attacked. No one seems to be dead, Guy observed. Just severely wounded. Father! Hanabi cried again. Hiyashi-sama, Neji. Hiyashi began to talk, very slowly as his strength is slipping. He was, strong. Too fast. Surprised us, don't know how powerful. Father, save your strength, Hanabi circled. Forget about me. Hiyashi's strength was nearly all gone. You must save Hinata. With that, he loses consciousness. Neji and Hanabi were shocked to hear those words. Neji used his Byakugan and did not find Hinata anywhere. They took Hinata-sama. I can't find her. Father! Oni-san! Ha! Nabi's tears fell from her face to her father. Lee had arrived with the medics and they quickly went to look after the fallen Hyugas. Lee quickly finds his teacher and his teammate. Lee, Guy started. I'll leave things to you. I need to pay a visit to Tsunade-sama. What happened here? Before he could get an answer, Guy leaves and he ends up looking at Neji, Hanabi and their father. Three ninjas jump through the forest. Their leader carrying the knocked out Hinata. All of them wore a long white vest with black kimono-like clothing underneath. The leader also wears a white scarf around his neck and white triangular prisms in his hair, his katana at his side. The woman to his side has short, dark hair with two long braids covered in cloth. She is the only one without a sword. The Saint one carried his sword behind his back. The youngest, a white-haired boy, seeming to be older than Hinata, with green eyes takes a look at their captive. How long will the sleeping spell last? By the time it wears off, it'll be too late, the leader answered. I still don't get why we were hired for this. You took out all those Hyugas by yourself, the woman pointed out. While we waited outside the gates. It is understandable, the leader started. Konoha was deemed a very powerful village in the land. The Hyugas were their most powerful clan. Our client didn't want to take any chances. The woman looks at him curiously. Why didn't you kill them? I only followed the mission order, nothing more. The kid looks back where they came from. How long do you think before they send out a rescue squad? It doesn't matter. We are capable of handling whatever they send. With your ice, her speed and my flowers, their so-called rescue force will be the ones that need rescuing. Hanabi stays by her father's side as Neji. Lee, Tenten and Guy stand before the Hokage. She looks out the window in deep thought. As you all know, Tsunade began. Whoever attacked the Hyugas must have been extremely powerful. It's very obvious whoever it was is after the Byakugan. Just then Kurenai, Kiba and Shino walks into the room. Tsunade turns around and meets them. You're here, Tsunade told them. You must know already the situation. Yes we do, Kurenai quickly responded. Then I'll skip straight to the mission. Tsunade puts on her serious look. I'm sending you 2 teams to retrieve Hinata as soon as possible. There is no room for error, I'll only give you 1 hour to prepare. The mysterious attacker may or may not be alone. As soon as Kakashi and Team Asuma return I will send them after you as well. Is that understood? Yes ma'am. All of them answered. Kurenai, Tsunade began. You're 1 member short, so I sent Sakura to get your replacement. He may not be much normally, but he's very dependable when it comes to his friends. Sakura enters the room. I'm back, and I got him. Naruto walks in after her. Granny Tsunade. When do I get to beat this guy up? I'll get Hinata back, believe it. Tsunade smiled at his usual energetic self. In 1 hour, you are to meet at the gates and pursue immediately. Remember, this is the one that took out the Hyuga main house by himself. We don't even know who it is or if he's with anyone. If Shizune is able to give me the report before then, I'll send it to you ASAP. If not, then you're on your own. Good luck to all of you. Kiba looks over to Naruto. Hey, make sure you leave some pieces for us. My bugs will make sure there is nothing left, Shino added. Team Kurenai leaves the room as Guy gives Naruto his signature pose, with all of us together. There's nothing to stop us. Neji walks out quietly with Lee and Tenten right behind him. No words passed, just silence. Naruto could tell that he was very worried about Hinata as well. Bring her back Naruto, Sakura told him. No worries, that guy is toast. Naruto went to leave the room. Once out he sees Hanabi. She ran and grabbed him and her tears poured onto his clothes. Oh hey. You're Hinata's little sister right? Please, she cried. Please bring her back. Don't you worry. Naruto kept a tough face. I'll bring her back, I promise. Naruto SMI. Less at her as he leaves her standing in the hallway. Sakura has heard his words and saw him go down the hall. That was the same promise you made to me about Sasuke, except you only have 1 chance to keep this one. Please keep it Naruto. Chasing the lost light, Naruto meets up with Team Kurenai and Team Guy. Both teams were ready for the mission. Without saying a word, they nodded and left the village, following Kiba and Akamaru as they track down Hinata's scent. Hanabi and Sakura see them off, hoping for the best. Hiashi has begun to move, but Shizune lays him back down before he hurts himself even more. Hiashi-sama, you mustn't force yourself. I couldn't tell them, it was. Tsunade looks out her big window, they should have gone by now. This is just like that time, only now the enemy is much stronger. Tsunade sits down to do her paperwork as she picks off a couple sheets from a very tall pile, one of many piles. After a while she hears a loud thumping heading her way and awaits whoever it is that will come through the door. Shizune busts through as Tsunade had predicted. Tsunade, the one that attacked the Hyugas. It was a missing nin. Shizune stops shortly to catch her breath. A missing nin? From which land? Shizune continues to breath heavily. It was one of the missing nin, from the land of lost heaven. Them. Tsunade quickly stands and stares out the window. Then that means that the rescue team will be facing all 3 of those missing nins. Be careful everyone. The 2 teams quickly rush through the forest, jumping through the trees like there is no tomorrow. Guy, Kurenai, Naruto called to them. Can we pick up the pace? Guy smiles. I like your youthful energy Naruto. But what about those that aren't as energetic? Actually, Kurenai began. You, Guy, Lee and Neji can go ahead. I'll follow with the rest. Kiba speaks up. It looks like they're only going in a straight path, just keep going forward. Right then, Guy proclaimed. Lee, Neji, are you 2 ready? For Hinata-sama. Yes sir. Let's go. Guy ordered and all 4 of them picked up their speed. Tenten is worried about Neji's mental state. Neji. Hey Tenten, Kiba called her. I'm certain Neji will do fine. He and Naruto will get Hinata back, just you wait. Thanks Kiba. Tenten's spirits lifted a little as they continue onward. As they race through the forest, the only thing on their minds is getting to Hinata as soon as possible. Naruto however wants to beat up the guy that took her, make him wish he was in the underworld. The sun slowly sets before completely leaving the sky. The robes cease their movement deep into the night. Naruto, Guy, Lee and Neji keep pushing forward. Naruto, hey Naruto. Guy cried out. Yeah what? We need to stop for a rest now. But what about, quote, Even if do catch up to them, what's the point if we're too tired to fight? Guy asked him. Naruto was silent. Remember Naruto, this is only one person that took out the whole Hyuga clan by surprise. We need to be as prepared as we can. Not only that, our chances increase when we have the rest of our friends. Right. Naruto obeyed. Guy found them a spot to lay down. Lee starts the fire as everyone else sets their gear. In time, Kurenai and the rest catch up. Neji volunteered to keep watch. Naruto also volunteers. Neji jumps to a tree and Naruto follows while the rest of them get some shut-eye. I should have been there. I could have helped Hinata-sama to escape. Even if that happened, the attacker could still get the other Hyugas, Naruto replied. Listen, we will get Hinata back. I'll make sure of it. Thank you, Naruto. Hinata wakes up drowsily holding her head. Her eyes take a few seconds to adjust to her surroundings before she realizes where she is. A small fire was burning in front of her. There was some food laid out. Two people were sleeping right next to the fire, a man and a young woman. It was only then that she remembered. The man had attacked her clan by surprise. His technique, she couldn't see it nor was she able to determine what it was. All she could remember was that everything was normal as sakura petals flew into the house. Then all of a sudden many cuts and slashes appeared all over the people in the house itself. Everywhere except on her. That was when he appeared and cast some technique. Hinata figured, it had to have been some sort of knockout or sleeping skill. Hinata looks around to find a good way to escape. You're awake. Hinata hears the voice and froze before she could get up. Turning slowly, ever so fearful, she sees a white-haired boy sitting on a low tree branch looking at the sky. He seemed older than she is. Our client said to take you dead or alive preferably, the boy said without turning. She knew this was a threat. If she tried to escape she'd die, but if she let herself get captured then the secrets of the Byakugan will be discovered. She only had one choice left, she had to take the secrets with her. If you're planning to die, I would advise against it, the white-haired boy spoke again. This time he hopped off the branch and stood over her. I'm certain village would send a retrieval squad after us. Who knows, it could even be your friends. What do you think will happen if they find out their hard work was for nothing? Hinata stayed quiet. I didn't want to talk to one of the ones that kidnapped her. If her friends were after her, she can't just give up yet. If not, the boy kneeled down to meet her eye to eye. We'll kill them. Hinata's eyes grew at those words. He spoke the truth. If Hinata was dead they would lose all their focus and die at the hands of these people. It only took one of them to take out the Hyuga clan, who knows what all three could do. The chance of her friends coming for her may be slim, but she knows the Hokage will make sure it happens. She has to stay alive, so that her friends can save her. They will not let her be taken away, no matter what. The boy points to the food by the fire. That's yours, we rather you don't starve to death. He goes over to take the food and place it in front of Hinata. He then sits in front of her, as if to make sure she eats the food. She takes the food nervously as he stares at her. Eventually after a couple bites she blushes a little and looks away. I was only trying to find out why those eyes are so important, the boy told her. Hinata blushes a bit more as she found that he was staring into her eyes. The boy stood again, but this time he isn't as menacing. Finish up what you're eating. Our leader will put the sleeping spell back onto you in the morning. You had best cooperate. What's your name? The boy went over to a nearby tree to lean back to. I don't know why you're so curious about it. This may be the last name you will know, or hear. I am Hitsugaya Tushiro. I am usually called Hitsugaya. Thank you. I'm Hinata, Hina. Ta continued to eat under his watchful eyes. Why would you tell me your name before you die? Hitsugaya kept an eye on her before the blackness took over. Morning came. Naruto quickly packed up as the rest of the crew readied as well. They immediately jumped to the trees to continue pursuit. As if listening to Guy's advice, Naruto never asked to race ahead of the pack, so as all of them will fight together at full strength. Everything they have to save Hinata. Hitsugaya, wake up. The boy hears the voice of his female companion as he opens his eyes. I'm awake, Soi Fong. Apparently he had fallen asleep throughout the night. Yet he did not know how. All he remembers is watching Hinata eat. Quickly finding the sun's position, it is around midday. His leader was the next to speak. What were you planning to do with our mission objective? Hitsugaya. Not understanding what he is talking about, his hands feel something on his lap. It was their captive, her head sleeping soundly on top of his lap. I was only making sure we get the highest possible payout. She is fine as she is, the leader told him. Lay her on the ground so I can cast the spell. He did as told, gently placing her head on the ground as he stood up, though finding a small wet spot where her head was quite irritated him. She drooled on me. The leader finished his spell and carried the sleeping hostage. They began to race through the forests again. Hitsugaya was deep in thought about what happened last night. Why would Hinata ask for his name? Why would she give him hers? Why did she sleep on him? Those questions puzzled him as they hopped from tree to tree. He tried to imagine her position, having seen her whole clan suddenly attacked and herself being kidnapped. Once they reach their destination, she will die. If she kills herself, the rescue team will die by their hands. No escape, no hope, just death. She would have needed something, or someone to cling onto for her last living moments. He was the only choice as he was the one that is physically the closest. Something wrong? Soi Fong questioned him. It's nothing, I'm just thinking about what kind of rescue squad they'll send after us. The leader overhears their conversation, they don't even know who attacked them. A rushed team would have been made of strong ninjas. They are nothing to worry about. The trio keeps moving onward, racing through the forest and jumping through the trees. Hitsugaya hears a small twig snap behind him. Rasengan. The boy was barely able to move out of the way in time as Naruto hits a tree, turning it into toothpicks. Team Guy and Team Kurenai soon followed as Soi Fong and the leader stopped to see what was happening. Hey you! Naruto yelled out. Give back Hinata or else. Standing before heaven, the three missing nins turned to see had tried to attack them. It was the rescue force, made up of Team Guy, Team Kurenai and Naruto. The green beast of Konoha, I've so much about you, Soi Fong said aloud. Guy and Kurenai realizes now who stands before them, the missing nin from the land of lost heaven. Kurenai starts to get worried about their chances of succeeding their mission. Of all the possible ninjas, it had to be these three. The leader broke the silence. Soi Fong, take care of them. Understood. Hitsugaya, we'll continue with the mission. The leader and Hitsuge. A jump off as Soi Fong removes her white jacket and readies for battle. Hey wait you! Naruto screamed to the leader and began to chase after them. Soi Fong appeared instantly in front of him and I.S. about to hit him with a kick until Lee jumped in to block the attack. This kid is fast, but not fast enough. She moves again behind Lee this time. Guy came in to stop her attack. Soi Fong, missing nin from the land of lost heaven. A taijutsu expert who was unable to use any ninjutsu or genjutsu, Guy told them as he held her leg. Kurenai, take the others and go ahead. Me and Lee can handle this. Good luck, Kurenai wished him. Her team, Naruto, Neji and Tenten jump off to give pursuit to the other two missing nins. Don't underestimate me, Soi Fong kicked at Guy who released her leg and joined Lee. Guy gives off his trademark smile and thumbs up, don't underestimate us either. Lee, take off your weights, won't be able to fight unless you do. Yes sir. Soi Fong charged in. Guy blocks another kick aimed for his face. Guy went for an uppercut, only to have his hand caught and used as a catapult for her to jump over him. Guy just stands there as she land behind, she immediately ducks down to avoid a kick by Rock Lee and hops up to evade a low sweep kick by Guy. Lee brings his foot back around to hit the air as Soi Fong vanished. Guy and Lee also accelerate to high speeds. A tree bursts into tiny pieces as the young woman narrowly misses Lee. The boy's counter kick ends up getting caught and she throws him away. The teacher comes in with another kick, which ends up being blocked. Soi Fong tries to stab him with her fingers but he just jumps high above revealing Lee flying in, his fist wound up. Soi Fong pushes the fist to her side and counters with a punch to the face. Guy flies down and she moves to the side as his fist breaks apart the branch. She does a spin kick to hit Guy in the back and send him to the air. Lee breaks through the branch under her, his foot hitting her gut. Lee continues with a barrage of kicks to send her higher. Soi Fong notices the cloth around his arms are loosened. After a few hits she catches one of his feet and holds it. Lifting her leg, she brings it down to send her heel to his stomach, making him feel pain. His body drops down but the woman quickly follows, intending to kill him with a finishing kick. Before she could hit her target, a leg hits the woman in the gut and Guy kicks her off. He chases after the flying body as it lands on another tree. Guy backs off when Soi Fong kicks, only to be hit in the shoulder by hidden kunai fired from her leg. He quickly removes it before getting hit in the face. Lee flies in to hit her back while she was recovering from the attack. The loose cloth on his arms were torn off. Guy-sensei, I'll be fine Lee, it's only a scratch, yet all of them can clearly see a small red color coming out of where the kunai hit. The woman smiles a bit before she speaks, that is not only a scratch. You'll find out soon. Quote, they accelerate once more, their punches and kicks connecting over at high speeds. The leader continues onward carrying the unconscious girl with the white-haired boy right behind him. Hitsugaya wondered how long it will take for Soi Fong to finish her battle and catch up. The only real threat he could acknowledge from the rescue squad was the one she called Green Beast. Not only that, to send some kids after them, either the village is very stupid or those kids are very close friends to the girl. Just who is she? That won't matter in the long run. Those kids are no match for the powers of Lost Heaven. They have come, the leader spoke out. Hitsugaya grabs his sword and turns around, deflecting some aerial weapons headed straight for him. Without saying a word, he knew he was ordered to stay and fight them off. The leader keeps jumping forward as the white-haired boy sees his opponents come to him. He notices the green beast and the boy that looked like him weren't with this group. This makes things difficult. A Junin and several genin against a missing nin, normally that would be nothing to worry about for him. But if only two of them stayed to fight Soi Fong, how strong could they really be? Checking out his enemies, one of them had the exact same eyes as Hinata. There was a dumb blonde, an afro with dark shades, a girl with buns, and a boy that is with his dog. The Junin doesn't seem to be that much of a threat though. Where is Hinata-sama? You're a Hyuga too. Why would you ask me when you're not going to succeed? What? Neji activates his Byakugan and all of the boys give the white-haired kid a mean look. You better tell us where she is. Naruto yelled out. Hitsugaya pointed with a thumb over his shoulder, she's that way. But you don't want to go there, even if you do manage to get past me. Our leader is much stronger than me or Soi Fong, you will never stand a chance. That is, if you pass me. IALR. Edie no you won't be able to defeat me. Oh yeah, says who? Hitsugaya Tushiro, missing nin from the land of Lost Heaven. Naruto charged forward with a kunai in hand. The swordsman blocks it with his blade and pushes Naruto back. His eyes start to twirl as what he sees is becoming altered. Genjutsu. Hitsugaya closes his eyes and begins to focus. Your genjutsu won't work on me. He flash steps behind where he feels Kurenai. The genjutsu stops and Kurenai has been cut deep. Slowly she falls over before falling off the NH completely. Shino and Kiba catch her as she falls and lays her on the ground below the trees. Shino does a quick examination while Hitsugaya turns around to face everybody else he passed. They gave him a mixed looks of both surprise and hearted. They're determined, I'll give them that. But it'll make more than mere determination to succeed. Kurenai is still able to speak, I'll be fine, just focus on keeping alive yourself. That kid is not like anyone you've faced before. She's just been cut deeply, Shino explained. She's all right for now but she won't be able to move. We'd best leave her here. Go, Kurenai told them. All right, Kiba acknowledged. Shino and Kiba joined the rest of their team to face against the white-haired swordsman. Hitsuage holds his weapon in front of him and readies to face off against the 5 genins. The air is tense, as the two sides only stare at each other, as if waiting for the first move. Naruto inched his leg, Hitsugaya tightens his grip on his weapon, a bead of sweat sliding down both of their heads. Neji watches both their actions. Himself very nervous. Naruto suddenly runs fast, Neji follows right behind him. Hitsugaya jumps high into the air watching the running ninja. Ice starts to cover his sword and then the sky quickly turns dark. Neji stops to see what he is doing while Naruto continues onward. What a huge amount of chakra. He's creating water and ice from his chakra. Set upon the frosted heavens, Hitsugaya cried out. Hiranmara. With a swing of his sword, a long snake-like dragon emerges from the ice and water. The dragon flies around the swordsman to give the genin a sea of its speed and size. All but Naruto stood watching it dance around, wondering what it could be capable of. Hitsugaya points with his sword to give an order to it, attack the ninja that was running away, Naruto. I won't let you escape. Go Hiranmara. The ice dragon dives as Kiba, Shino and Tenten quickly get out of its way. Everything it came into contact with froze, covering it in a thin layer of ice. Naruto hears several noises of breaking branches behind him. He turns to look at the blue dragon heading straight for him. Kaden. Neji jumps in front of Naruto and activates his whirl. Two chakras collide and the dragon is slowly being disintegrated as it hits the Kaden, freezing the chakra to make a small dome around Neji. Neji breaks through the ice with his palms. Still in the air, Hitsugaya swings his sword once more to create another dragon of water and ice. Neji looks at Naruto. Go Naruto. Save Hinata-sama. If anyone can do it, it's you. We'll deal with things here. Leave it to me. Do your best guys. Naruto runs off. What is that girl to you? To send off only one member, knowing full well he doesn't stand any chance to beat the leader. Yet still hoping he can get her back. I want to know. I want you to tell me without saying anything, what she means to you. Hitsugaya points his sword at the remaining genins. The dragon dives down as Neji, Tenten, Ki, Ba and Shino watch it come down from the sky. Heaven's power. Hitsugaya's dragon flies down and everybody separates. From the air, he controls the dragon, going after his targets. Kiba and Akamaru desperately try to get away from it. Racing across the trees, the dragon just rips through anything in its way. Tenten launches many weapons at Hitsugaya, who is able to deflect all her attacks easily. Shino used this to sneak up behind him. But it wasn't enough. Hitsugaya's chain and moon blade wrapped around one of Shino's arms. Neji sees the action and finds that the chain and blade had suddenly appeared from the handle of the swordsman's sword. Where did that come from? Is it a genjutsu? Shino's caught arm begins to freeze. The ice dragon gives up the chase and flies up to its master. No breaks apart into several bugs as Hiranmara flies through. Hitsugaya senses several aerial weapons coming at him. The ice dragon surrounds his master, blocking any and all of the flying weapons. Shino jumps high to meet with the kid swordsman. He makes some seals with his hands. After finishing, his hands were completely covered in his bugs as he points towards the blue dragon. Insect fire technique. The bugs breathe out a small burst of flame, all combing them into one huge fireball that crashes with the white-haired kid's dragon. The dragon shatters and Hitsuga floats a bit and drops to the nearest branch. Hitsugaya senses someone behind him. Neji missed an attack to the swordman's back. Putting on the pressure, Neji continues to try to hit him. Hitsugaya easily dodges Neji's attacks, tilting his head back and forth, side to side, adjusting his body to completely avoid Neji's attacks. Finding an opening, Hitsugaya counters with his sword. Neji moves swiftly to evade the metal blade, having to make use of side steps and several jumps as Hitsugaya chases after him. Anything they pass is usually cut. From below, Hitsugaya gets hit by what seems like twin tornadoes. He gets knocked back and lands on a branch. The two tornadoes stop to reveal two Kibas. They charge again, chasing after the white-haired boy. The two whirlwinds spin after Hitsugaya. Looking back, he sees them coming closer. His eyes back at the front, Shino has readied his bugs for another attack. A fireball flies trough the trees and the swordsman is headed right for it with twin whirlwinds right behind him. Stopping completely, the boy jumps off the branch as the fireball passes. Kiba and Akamaru make some room between them to let the flame pass and stops to look for their opponent. Hitsugaya, who had swung his chain around the branch he jumped off of, comes up to kick Akiba in the chin. The other one just growls and uses the Gatsuga. The swordsman jumps up high to keep away from it completely. In the air once more, he swings his sword again, creating another dragon of water and ice. Guy, Li and Soi Fong continue to battle it out. With their high speed, no regular person could watch. With their high strength, no normal being would have survived. Rock Lee sees a perfect opportunity, Konoha Whirlwind. He hits Soi Fong hard. the body of the woman is sent back flying. Recovering from the attack, she sees a piece of tree flying at her. Dodging it, she comes face to face with Guy. They give a short exchange of kicks and punches until Guy feels something strange with one of his arms. It won't move. In his confusion, Soi Fong kicks him hard in the face. Guy manages to land safely as Lee comes to his side. "What's wrong, Guy-sensei? I can tell you," the woman talked with a very confident voice. "The kunai I hit him with, it was covered with a slow-acting paralyzing drug that will eventually flow through your whole body. I made it slow because I prefer to use my own two hands to finish off my enemies." "I'll be all right, Lee," Guy reassured him. "We can take her. You have more youth than she does and we can combine our energy to make a big explosion." Guy gives a signature smile and thumbs up. Soi Fong just gives a weird look. Is this really the green beast of Konoha? Guy, Lee and Soi Fong accelerate once more. Lee goes in for the attack with Guy backing him up. Soi Fong jumps down to dodge both of them and comes up behind. Guy turns and uses his moving hand to catch a kick. The woman lifts her other leg and twirls to hit Guy in the face. Landing on all four, she jumps out of the way to avoid Lee's counter-attack. Soi Fong attempts to punch Lee. He ducks it and then jumps to make sure she didn't have a follow-up. Guy comes in and kicks her hard. Guy follows up with many fast kicks aimed high. Side to side, left to right. Soi Fong is unharmed because of her moving hands. She begins to attack with kicks of her own. As several of their attacks connect, hawkwaves spread out from the pure power put into them. The woman manages to grab hold of his leg. After a brief smile appears on her lips, she pulls him closer as she goes forward. Her palm hits Guy right in the chest with such a force that he flies through a couple trees. Lee had snuck in from above and knocked her head down with his heel. Almost immediately his target countered with a strong back flip. Her foot hitting him right on the chin. As he is hit, she quickly lands and dash punches Lee, sending him to Guy. She follows only to met with 2 feet, one from each of them. She quickly recovers and goes into the attack as her 2 enemies rush in. Naruto runs frantically through the trees, leaves and branches. Now it is just him and him alone. He has to bring Hinata back no matter what. Everyone is counting on him. Please, please bring her back. Go Naruto. Save Hinata-sama. If anyone can do it, it's you. Hinata. Naruto makes haste, drastically increases his speed. When you cheered me on, I felt like I had become stronger than before. After the preliminaries, I was able to like myself a little more. I think I was able to change. And I think it was thanks to you, Naruto-kun. Hey Hinata. Did you really think that? I may look strong from your point of view, but I always screw up, and I just act strong because I'm mad. That's not true. Even if you did make a mistake, you were always, from my point of view, a proud man who makes lots of mistakes. When I looked at you, there was this impact on my heart. You're not perfect. You make mistakes, and you get stronger from them. I believe that is true strength. Naruto-kun, you are a strong person. Thank you, Hinata. I will protect you, no matter what. As the wind blows in his face, tears flow from his eyes into the air. The leader of the kidnappers presses onward, not wanting to go too far ahead that his teammates may never catch up, but at just the right speed to stay away from any pursuers that may have passed Hitsugaya. Not that any one of them had that chance. Still, something doesn't feel right. Eventually, he finds himself at a large clearing that leads to a cliff. He slowly walks over the edge and looks down. There is huge clearing below the very tall cliff. The leader turns around to face the direction he came from and places Hinata on the ground. Walking over the body, he moves closer to the forest and awaits whatever it was that he had been sensing. An orange-clad boy with blonde hair pops out of the forest and faces him angrily. The boy looks at the sleeping girl behind the kidnapper, Hinata. So, you were the only one to pass Hitsugaya, the leader spoke to him. But to send only you, is the rescue squad full of fools? Hey you, give Hinata back or else. The leader questioned the boy's intelligence. I admire your courage. I suppose I should reward you with my name. I don't care what your name is. Naruto shouted angrily. If you don't give back Hinata, then I'm going to beat you up. You cannot beat me, the leader stated. You can't even bring me down to one knee. Oh yeah, Shadow clone technique. Several hundred Naruto copies appear throughout the area. You can't defeat with that technique, the leader mocked. He looked around to find that these clones were not mere shadows, but actual clones. To keep my word, I am Kuchiki Byakuya. The Narutos all dash in towards Byakuya, who just stands there waiting for them. Guy's back hit a tree after he was attacked from the front. Lee goes over to his side. Something was wrong. Soi Fong lands nearby. By now my potion should have gotten to your other arm. After that it's your legs. But it's no fun letting a bunch of water defeat my opponents. She throws out some sort of pill into the air and swallows it easily. Guy wondered what that was she just took. Lee is getting tense as he doesn't know what is happening. Soi Fong's body is suddenly covered with overflowing chakra. Guy watches as the chakra seems to be absorbed into her muscles. You see, she began. What I just swallowed was a special custom-made medicine. It greatly increases my chakra as well as fuse it into me. Meaning I'm even stronger and faster now. As if to demonstrate, she dashes for them. Guy and Lee were barely able to move out of the way of her attack as it shatters a big tree. As the two were still moving from the dodge, they were hit by kicks. Both of them hit a tree. The bark on them broke apart and began falling to the ground below, hitting several branches on the way down. Soi Fong smiles as she sees them hit the bottom. Lee struggles to get up as he sees Soi Fong land and slowly walk towards the helpless guy. Fallen angel. Byakuya draws his sword, cutting clone as he does so. He quickly moves in to cut up some more Naruto clones. Every time a Naruto gets near, he flash steps and whoever he passed poofs. 3 Narutos come in with kunais and the leader just blocks them all with his blade. He easily pushes them away from him with a swing. Cutting up some more that came in from the air, he sees a Naruto going for the mission objective. He calmly points his palm at that Naruto. Way of Destruction number 31, Red Flame Cannon. A red ball of energy fires from his palm, flying at its target. An explosion follows on impact, sending Naruto flying. He rolls on the ground getting covered in dust. The Narutos stop their attack as the real one gets up. I told you that your technique can't defeat me, the leader stayed emotionless. Also, did you not say you were going to beat me up? Shut up, Naruto scowled. My mission is to save Hinata, then you'll get yours right after. Was this mission given to you or did you decide to do it long before? Byakuya questioned. What the hell do you know? She's my friend, and I won't forgive anyone that hurts my friends. Your level of determination, it's very clear that she is not merely a friend to you, the leader observed. If you truly believe you can save her, then come, take this. Naruto made a sign with both his hands, making sure his opponent can see it. Byakuya was unaffected. 2 fingers, the middle one on each hand, how original. All the Narutos dive in to attack the kidnapper. Guy can barely move from that hard hit. A view of Soi Fong nearing him all he could see, that is until he noticed Lee getting up as hard as he could. He already opened 2 gates just to be able to fight. Lee, you fought very hard alongside me. I'm very proud of you. I'm sorry I couldn't do any more. The woman stands over the downed Junin. This is the end for you. Maida Guy. Her chakra overflows once more, intent on a killing blow. Savoring her victory, she stares at her helpless victim. A short gust of wind blows behind her. Yet she could tell this isn't any regular wind. Turning around, she could see Lee somehow powering up. What is this? The woman seemed to panic a little as Lee continues to draw out his chakra. Lee, I will not let you kill Guy-sensei. Lee roared. He is my teacher. He has done so much for me. I will not just stay here and watch. I will defeat you myself, for me and for him. Guy-sensei, if you think I'm not doing the right thing then I'm sorry. I cannot bear to see you go right before my eyes. The chakra seemed to overflow at a rapid speed. Soi Fong doesn't know what to make of it but she's certain she can fight back. Guy, however, was happy to see Lee giving everything he has for the both of them. The chakra seemed to explode as Lee's skin turned red. Soi Fong prepares for an attack, but Lee doesn't move. Now for the 4th gate. The wound gate, open. Lee roared out. 4th gate. Is that one of the 8 gates? I've only heard of them, so they exist. What is the extent of that power? Lee gets ready, as does Soi Fong. A full charge attack and the ground breaks. Lee hits Soi Fong heavily, the great gust of wind blows in Guy's face. Soi Fong clenches her chest as she flies back. She lets her chakra overflow once more and kicks behind her to connect with one of Li's legs. They bounce off of each other onto the trees, where they seem to be flying through the forest as they seem to move instantaneously from tree to tree. Anywhere they jumped from seemed to crack. Every time they hit each other, a large shockwave follows, creating strong winds to blow the surrounding area. Li tries a jump kick. It was blocked and the woman counters by grabbing his leg and pulling him in to punch his chest. Li catches her arm and they hold each other's limbs as they seem to float in the air. The boy swings his free leg around for another attack. His opponent raises her knee to guard against it. They separate and bounce around the trees once more, spreading shockwaves whenever they try to attack. Both them raced along the trees. Just their intense speed is creating great winds throughout the surrounding area. The shockwave seems to damage anything unfortunate to be near. The fight climbs up through the woods. Soi Fong manages to catch another kick somehow. She spins him around and around before throwing him at a tree. Li lands on the tree with Hi's legs and a hand as the sudden speed in the area caused a lot of leaves to blow up into the air. Li looks angrily at Soi Fong while the leaves flutter in the air. She stares back him. The boy quick Li flies off the tree to race around once more. This kid, how can this be happening? He's still getting faster. Li's kick is caught by a single hand, yet Soi Fong was hit with the other foot before she could react. In the middle of recovering, she gets hit once more in the gut, then right at her back. The woman barely managed to deflect a fist to her face, a spin kick to the side and Li broke through a tree. Yet he quickly returned through where he crashed a mere instant ago, before the top piece even begins to fall. Soi Fong managed to guard one punch but the following kick came immediately from behind. Li quickly moved from tree to tree, hitting Soi Fong with unbelievable speed power. The attacks keep sending her higher and higher, until they reach the treetops. Now to finish this, Li continues to pound on Soi Fong without giving her an instant to think, sending her even higher than the treetops. Li kicks Soi Fong high into the sky. Now with his last jump, he goes past her and awaits the defenseless body. Li dives down towards his opponent. Soi Fong is unable to react because of great uncertainty and fear. Fifth gate. Forest gate. Open. A heavy hitting fist ts her in the gut and she is sent downwards at incredible speed. Something suddenly pulled on her. Managing a look, some of the boy's cloth is wrapped around her waist and he is tugging on it. Li pulls her towards him and extends his leg and free arm as she nears. Primary Lotus. A massive wind erupts from the impact. Great volumes of dust fly through the air. Soi Fong crashes through a great deal of branches, falling at a high speed towards the ground as Li holds himself from screaming from the pain. Soi Fong's body crashes on the forest floor, sending even more wind and dust up into the air. As the dust cleared, there was an impact crater focused around where her body lay. She didn't move. She couldn't move with all the damage she took. Her eyes stared up into the sky. The sun started to hide behind some clouds. Her vision became blurred and began to fade out. A great deal of blood flew out from her mouth as she coughed. Her eyes slowly began to close before the darkness took over. Li fell from where he was, exhausted from the fight and the pain. Guy forces himself to move as he sees Li fall. Barely able to make it, Guy dives under the falling boy and Li lands on top of him. Guy manages to roll from under him and up onto a rock. He stares at the young boy, holding back his tears as is very proud and amazed at his student. Li slowly regains consciousness, blinking his eyes, but can never get up. He turns his head over to his teacher, Guy-sensei. Just rest, Li. Guy smiled happily at his apprentice. You really deserve it. Li smiles back at him before closing his eyes as Guy looks up. Guy wonders what could be happening. The sky is darkening, not a good sign. I hope everyone else is fine. Kurenai also notices the condition of the sky. If that kid can control water and ice, then everyone's in danger. Hitsugaya was able to find an opening to rest and sense the atmosphere change as well. He looks at the sky. Guess I overdid it a little, it's not supposed to rain. He looked back in front of him to see Tenten swing her staff at him. He guards with his sword and goes in for the counterattack. The Narutos continue their onslaught, miserably. No matter how many clones attack, Byakuya easily dodges, blocks, counters and cuts. In one swing 20 Narutos poofed. Several clones did a slide dash, causing him to jump up into the air with the clones following. A few of them tried to attack him with kunais, only for them to be easily blocked. By holding the kunais, they came in to strike up close. Unfortunately Byakuya deflects them off to his side and cuts them before moving on to the next clone. On his way down, many more Narutos try to attack, only to poof away seconds later. There was one clone he didn't notice though, as it aimed for his legs rather than his body. It managed to knock one of his legs off to the side, forcing him to land on one knee. This greatly surprised him. "Ah, what's the matter?" a Naruto mocked. "I told you not to underestimate me. You even said I can't bring you down to one knee. Well, look where you are now. Don't get confident, brat." Byakuya was still as emotionless as ever as he got up. He GHT his sword in front of him and faced the Naruto army. Scatter. Senbon Sakura. The sword broke apart into what looked like sakura petals. The Narutos just stood there wondering what was happening as the petals flew by them. The wind blows some more as the Narutos become very nervous. In an instant, all the clones disappeared. The real Naruto's eyes widened. Didn't know what just happened, or what just hit him. Naruto was suddenly cut in several areas. Blood slowly flowed out from the cuts and down his skin. He dropped to his knees as he sees the kidnapper's sword reform from the pink petals. He put the sword back into its sheath and turned around. "You are no match for me," Byakuya coldly told him as he fell all the way down. "I am much too strong for you. You will fail this mission. It was set in stone long before you even knew about me. By now even you should know, it is a fact that you cannot change." "You can," Naruto yelled out loud. "Don't label people just like that, you idiot. Beat him up, Hinata." The people around him took a look at Naruto, surprised at his sudden support. "Hinata," Naruto continued to cry out. "Why don't you say something back? It's making the people watching get angry." That's right," Naruto thought as he stared at the ground at his face, while Byakuya turned to slowly walk towards the sleeping girl. She was trying to change, prove to Neji that you can go against fate with hard work. Her determination, she didn't back down no matter how strong the enemy was. "Now I can't let her down here." Byakuya stood over his captive. He had opt because he felt something in the air that was out of place. B.A. bump. Ascension. B.A. bump. Byakuya turned around. A mere instant later he was punched in the face and both he and his attacker began fall off the cliff. Byakuya notices something different about the boy. His body was covered in a red aura, and his eyes, though all he got was a glimpse, his now red eyes showed extreme anger and determination. While they begin to fly off, Naruto grabbed Byakuya's vest near the neck and kicked him downwards. Concentrating chakra to his feet, the kidnapper managed to grab some footing along the rocky wall. Naruto continued to fall past the man. He creates some clones to make a ladder and swing the real one towards the wall. The older man charged down the wall, as soon as the real Naruto stood straight on it. The clones began their assault. Byakuya flash steps behind each one as he passes by, the clones disappearing one after the other. The real one quickly jumped, turned around and blocked an attack, surprising the kidnapper as they begin to fall. With his free hand, Naruto tries to punch him in the face. Byakuya raised an arm to push the fist off target. Using the opening, Naruto kicks him square in the chest. Separated, Naruto chases after his opponent, kunai in hand. Byakuya was surprised at his sudden increase in speed and strength, but it was nothing he can't handle as he easily blocked all of the kunai swings. With the advantage of range and speed, Byakuya aimed for Naruto's head. The sword just stopped short of its target. It had pierced though Naruto's free hand, which was brought up to block the attack. Grabbing hold of the sword, regardless of the pain, Naruto swipes at his enemy with his kunai, making a slash mark down his shoulder. Byakuya reacted by pulling T. He soared back and launched a fireball at point blank. The ensuing explosion separated them even further apart. Though he only managed a peek while chanting for the fireball, Byakuya saw that the Naruto's hand had quickly healed itself. The two ninja landed on their feet. Byakuya quickly closed the gap with a flash step and Naruto counters with his own speed. Tenten swung her staff relentlessly. forcing the swordsman on the defensive as his dragon keeps the other three away. A low swing, Hitsugaya jumped and flipped over, a high swing above her, he only had to block it as he went over. Back to back, the swordsman ducked to avoid another swing as his opponent turned around. He tries to counter with his own swing only to have it deflected. Tenten moves in close, swings her weapon up to his face. A simple movement of the sword is all he needed to block. But the staff broke into 3 sections and the end section that passed him began to swing around. Hitsugaya was hit at the side of his head. Bouncing off the ground with his hand, he creates distance as Tenten gives chase. Suddenly charging forward, Tenten brings up her staff to block the sword. Still blocking, she spins hers. LF so that one end of the staff flies towards her opponent. Hitsugaya turned around, allowing the staff to pass him as he does. Ha! They both stopped each other's attacks after doing a full turn. Their weapons were at the side, keeping the other from coming any closer. Tenten brought the other end over and the swordsman had to jump back to avoid it. The girl began rapid thrusts towards him. He easily managed to escape being hit as she pushes him back. The swordsman managed to wrap her weapon with the chain and blade, but it was a mistake. Tenten brought the front end down to the branch, tugging him in as she spun around the weapon with her foot stretched out, hitting him in square in the face, causing the chain to disappear. Stumbling, he held his nose as Tenten swung her staff once more, knocking him down. He rolls away as the staff hits where he just was. A second attack had to be blocked while he was on his back. The swordsman quickly spun his legs around, hitting the girl's legs and forcing her on one knee. As he got up, he swings upwards at her face. The girl only gets a small cut at her cheek. They both got up onto their feet at the same time and looked into each other's eyes. Hitsugaya strikes first, swinging for her head. The staff keeps it away from her as another section tries to counter. The swordsman ducks and brings his sword back. With a thrust, he miss for her heart, but she sidesteps easily. The swordsman back flips away to evade the counter thrust. Tenten jumps in to close the gap with another thrust. Her enemy sidesteps and thrusts with his own weapon, having the rear end of the staff change its course just above her shoulder. Hitsugaya spins around as she brings back her weapon and blocks the attack. The swordsman spins around again to attack from above. Tenten stretches her staff in above of her and the blade is caught between 2 sections, hitting the chain connecting them. Using this to her advantage, she jumps up and twirls around a lot, exchanging the staff sections between her hands while keeping eye contact with Hitsugaya. She landed facing him, his sword wrapped around in the staff's chain, and she held the 2 sections tightly. Hitsugaya tugged on his weapon, but it was stuck in the chain. He brings out his own chain and throws it around her arms. The chain he threw creates a thin layer of ice around where it wrapped around, causing fear and surprise to emerge on the girl's face. Hitsugaya pulled on the chain, bringing her in. With the chain hand, he punches her right in the face. She falls back and off the branch, pulling him down with her. Tenten landed on her back on a lower branch, with Hitsugaya on his hands and knees above, causing an awkward moment. She quickly kicks him off of her, only to be dragged herself by the weapons. Now Tenten landed on one knee, above Hitsugaya who was on his back. The swordsman pulls in both his feet and kicks her away. She lands a short distance off as he gets on his own feet. Looking at each other's eyes, they smiled, respecting each other's skill with a weapon. Tenten. Neji calls form the forest. He sees that the ice around her arms is made of chakra. Using Juken, he breaks it up from the inside and pulls out the chain. As she held the weapons, Neji charged in with his palm. The swordsman jumped and twisted in the air to avoid the attack and to keep his hand on the sword. The twist was what it needed to slip out from the girl's grasp. Now separated, he jumps back, almost being hit by a small whirlwind had he not noticed. Taking a quick glance around, his dragon was nowhere to be found. Neji and Tenten attacked together. Using his sword against the girl and his own body against the Hyuga, Hitsugaya barely managed to escape their combo. They stood back to back, ready for another team attack. Neji went first. The swordsman sidesteps and brings his blade up to block the girl's staff. He leaps over Tenten guarding and countering any aerial assaults. Landing, Tenten goes low and swings, forcing him to jump. Neji was also in the air flying above Tenten towards him. The Hyuga brought his palm forward and the swordsman was barely able to move out of the way. However, Hitsugaya was able to use his knee and hit Neji in the gut with it, bring him down. Neji was on his knee as Tenten now jumps over and furiously attacks the swordsman. Higua RDS all of her moves and makes space between them, forcing her to thrust wildly to make up for the distance. Jumping back, he tries to breathe but a whirlwind attack from below makes him jump some more. Now Shino, Neji yelled out. Realizing they set up a trap, he called out his dragon once again, Kurenai. Firefly trap technique. The swordsman was barely able to create the dragon as fire came at him from all directions. The dragon wrapped itself around its master, protecting it from the intense heat. This can't be happening. These guys are mere genin. I am a missing nin from the land of lost heaven. Is this the strength of their determination to save her? I have no choice. The group watches from afar as their plan is set in motion. Their opponent is trapped in a great fireball, or so they thought. Bankai. A great gust of cold wind blows from the fireball, freezing whatever was nearby. The fire itself was frozen solid and a thick mist covers where the boy swordsman is supposed to be. Kurenai was watching the battle from below. Bankai, the land of lost heaven's secret technique. Please be careful everyone. Naruto kicks Byakuya away, forcing him to skid on his feet as he tries to stop moving. Naruto chases after him as his opponent stops. The kidnapper points one finger at Naruto. Way of destruction number 4, white lightning. A bolt of lightning flies out of Byakuya's finger, surprising Naruto, getting hit in the shoulder. The attack goes through the blonde boy and he balances himself out. Not only did the boy withstand the attack, but the wound it caused healed itself in a matter of seconds, causing a surprised look on Byakuya's face. What, is that all you got? Naruto taunted. I see, the leader said in his regular tone of voice. You are no ordinary genin. You should be honored that I will show you my real power. He holds his sword upside down in front of him, confusing the blonde. The man releases it and the sword falls, with Naruto's eyes glued onto it. Bankai. What shocked Naruto was that the sword sank into the ground, sending ripples out like the ground was made of water. What happened next he couldn't believe. 1000 lar. GE blades began to appear from the ground behind the black-haired man. They were in 2 rows on either side of him, each one is much bigger than Byakuya himself. Hitsugaya emerges from the mist, from his shoulders wings of ice sprouted out. His hands were also covered in the same element, the sword hand being frozen with the sword. Behind him a tail had been formed, made of ice as well. 3str. Ange flowers of ice appeared floating above his head, each with 4 petals. Daiguren, Hiranmara. What is that? Kiba never hid his fear from the others as they too were afraid of the kid swordsman. Hitsugaya flew upwards. Anything he touched froze instantly. He hovered high in the sky, above the 4 genin. Neji knew what he was going to do. Everyone. Don't let him touch you. You'll freeze. Too late. The icy swordsman dived down. From his sword arm came a blue dragon aura that shot out at them. This is my true power, Byakuya told Naruto. Scatter. Senbon Sakura Kageyoshi. Every one of his blades scattered, creating millions of sakura petals that followed the wind towards frozen Naruto. Wrath of Heaven. The 4 genin spread out as fast as they can to get out of the way of the blue dragon. Hitsugaya's dragon flew down ahead of him towards his opponents. As the target split, its eyes focused on one of them to hit for sure. Tenten, look out, Kiba cried out. Realizing the danger she jumps to another branch, but the ice that covered it made it fragile, breaking under her feet. Tenten. Neji dived in to catch her just as the dragon flew by. Both of them crashed hard on a big branch below. Neji, are you all right? Tenten was worried. Your legs. I'm all right, he interrupted, but they both can clearly see his legs frozen together. I won't be much help anyway. I have to fight close while you guys can strike from afar. Don't say that. Listen, Neji told her. Defeat him and help Naruto save Hinata-sama. I know you can do it. Neji, please, do it. Tenten struggled for words but she gave in. All right Neji, we'll save her. She jumps back up to join Kiba and Shino, leaving Neji alone on that branch. Everyone's fighting for you, Hinata-sama. Frozen in fear, Naruto could do nothing but stand still. letting all of the blades flow through him. Naruto was all torn up as the attack took effect, blood flowing out of his wounds and onto the ground where he stood. He fell down, unmoving, with no strength at all. I will complete my mission. I told you that you cannot change that. You can. Naruto called out to Hinata. Hinata, it was a mistake to challenge me. That's not true. Hinata told him. Even if you did make a mistake, you were always, from my point of view, a proud man who makes lots of mistakes. You're not perfect. You make mistakes. And you get stronger from them. I believe that is true strength. Naruto-kun, you're a strong person. Even if it is. This is one mistake I gladly made, if it means saving Hinata. I admit, you were more than what I had expected. This is your last warning, Neji said in a threatening tone of voice. Give up. Hinata struggles to stand up, her body weakened by Neji's attacks. I'm not going to take back my words. That's my way of the ninja. Hinata breathed deeply as she stands, facing Neji. Her eyes shifted to Naruto, who was looking right back at her. I didn't know Hinata was so tough. She's very similar to you, Lee commented. Come to think of it, she's always been watching you. Naruto was a little surprised at Sakura's words. Hinata, I never noticed, but you were always cheering me on, weren't you? But it wasn't until I rooted for you that you found your true courage. It was over before the battle even began. You should have just stopped when you had the chance. Don't stop the match. Hey, Naruto, what are you talking about, stupid? She can't fight anymore. She fainted. Sakura soon ate her words as Hinata was slowly but surely getting up. I can still. There's no point in acting tough. You're barely able to stand up. There is no need to suffer. Let yourself go. What Neji said then was true. And yet, you continued to fight, and I still believed in you. To push me this far, is she really that much to you? Guardian of 8 divination seals. 64 strikes. No way. Hinata is doing such a cool just you. The Hinata you once knew is no more. What do you mean? After the Chunin exam, even you learned new jutsu, right? Well, Hinata has also been steadily improving. She was always worried about her abilities. Hinata had always worried about what she was meant to do and what she could do. During her harsh training, Hinata found her own style, her own technique. This is the result of that training. This technique belongs only to Hinata. Guardian of 8 divination seals. 64 strikes. Most likely she's done this to be acknowledged by her father, by everyone, and by you. I did notice, you did become stronger. A lot stronger than I thought possible, and you have a new jutsu to prove it. Hinata. I can't, I won't, lose her. Hey, you stupid fox. Give me some more chakra. Are you really that desperate to save that girl? Foolish boy, who do you think you're talking to? Give me some more chakra now. Ha ha ha, who do you think you're talking to? I am the 9-tailed demon fox, the Kyuubi. Like I care about that right now. If you don't give me more power, I'll just take it from you. Hey, you amuse me, boy. I'll give you some power, just don't lose this time. I won't, I made a promise. I won't let Sakura, Hanabi, Neji or Hinata down. B.A. bump. B.A. bump. B.A. bump. What? Byakuya's eyes grew wide. The kid who was hit by his Bankai's full force, was getting up. He could clearly see all the cuts he had endured heal like they were never there. The red aura around him before became thicker, and changed shape. What seems to be one tail and 2 pointed ears were created from the strange aura. Naruto holds out his fist. The exact same way as when he made a promise on Hinata's blood. I will win, Naruto suddenly spoke to the surprised man. Round 2. Let's go. Naruto quickly dropped on all fours and moved at a shocking speed. The kidnapper would have been hit had he not seen Naruto before the strike, creating a barrier of Sakura between the two of them. Naruto's hand swiped through the pink petals, which could not pierce through the strange shield. Byakuya Flash stepped away to avoid an attack through the opening. Naruto chased after him. Many of his pink petals flew at the fox boy, who was using great speed to dodge them entirely. But the Sakura were keeping Naruto away, or so Byakuya thought. Naruto's aura created a strange hand and it flies towards Byakuya, using his Sakura to guard against the attack. Dropping his shield, Byakuya sees Naruto right in his face. Before Naruto could attack, the kidnapper sent a whole bunch of petals skywards from under him, hitting the boy and sending him into the air. Again, the petals could not get through, but there were some cuts along the skin that healed instantly. Naruto jumped off the tower of Sakura. He lands and runs around once more to avoid the petals. How did he get this power, this speed? I said I will beat you up, Naruto taunted. Still don't believe me? Don't get too beepy, brat. Byakuya swings his hand. Naruto dodges the cloud of flying petals sent at him. Naruto runs some more, dodging all of the Sakura Byakuya sends at him. He notices that they're getting harder to avoid. How? Their speed has increased. If I control it with my hands, I can double my speed. Naruto warps around with his immense speed. Byakuya sends stream after stream of petals after the boy, eventually forcing him to move into the air. As Naruto dodges each stream, they split up into many smaller streams. Naruto keeps moving in the air, to dodge and avoid the millions of petals coming at him. Eventually, where around him there is a stream of Sakura blocking his escape. There is nothing that I can't, Byakuya began as Naruto was completely surrounded by Sakura. Catch. All of the pink blades close in from all sides at Naruto. There was no way for him to get out alive, even with the red aura of chakra. RRGGHH. The immense roar from the boy fox blew away the oncoming attack. All of the petals floated around as they are slowly taken down to the earth. Byakuya watched in surprise, not knowing what to make of it. There was no way he could have just defeated all of those petals. Naruto moves instantly behind the kidnapper. Byakuya turns around. A swipe of Naruto's claw creates blood marks across his chest. Stumbling back from the attack, Naruto swipes again, making another 3 lines of blood. Byakuya flash steps away from the fox. Naruto launches his chakra arm, nailing the older man in the chest. The swordsman lands on one knee, slowly getting up. Where did you get his power? No matter. You will not last long anyway. A large pink aura surrounded Byakuya. The area turns dark blue once more. Naruto stood, fixated at what is happening. Swords appeared out of nowhere. They circled both of them as they appeared. 1,000 swords showed themselves out of nowhere. They move in a circle around the two fighters. This abandons defense and gives its all to killing the enemy, the true form of Senbon Sakura, Senki, Senbon Sakura Kageyoshi. 2 blades dropped from where they were and Byakuya caught both of them. The other swords floated still, poised to attack Naruto. Angel vs. Demon. Neji had tried to break the ice around his feet, but it is made of a chakra that's even stronger than what he broke off from Tenten's hands. He is watching the intense fight between his friends and the Lost Heaven Ninja. 2 of the 3 icy flowers had already fallen from above the kid's head. Neji can only hope that it is a good sign, as the darkening sky is definitely not. Itsugaya was able to keep the Konoha ninjas from coming too near to him, but he also had difficulty getting close to them. Even with the Junin and the Hyuga out of the fight, the 3 remaining Genin proved to be more than he thought they were, especially now with what was in front of him. Hitsugaya floated, staring at the giant 2-headed dog before him. The boy with the dog had just merged together to form this being. The heads growled in his face. Hitsugaya was feeling uncertainty within himself. He had not seen anything like this before. Garuga. One of the heads roared out loud. Giant dog begins spin at rapid speed towards Hitsugaya. The swordsman flies away as fast as he could, but the whirling dog was quickly gaining speed. Just before the attack could even come near to him, he flies off in a different direction at a very high speed. However, his clothes were torn up and some cut marks appeared at his skin from the shearing wind. Even if I dodge the attack, it creates a cutting wind. I can't even afford a close call or else I'll be torn to shreds. The attack finishes tearing up more of the forest and the creature stands on the tree branches. It turns around to look at the flying swordsman. The heads growl some more as Hitsugaya hovers in the air. The swordsman summons forth his dragon aura around his sword arm and points at the 2-headed dog. Go! Hitsugaya thrusts hard, launching his dragon aura at Kiba and Akamaru. Garuga. Hitsugaya flies back to create some distance as his dragon and Kiba charge towards each other. The ice dragon is torn up before it even comes close to the dog. The whirling shredder continues through the air, aiming for the retreating white-haired kid. The freezing forest behind Hitsugaya is being easily torn apart by the two-headed creature. Shearing up the ice made of chakra like it was nothing. The swordsman dives sharply, just barely escaping the dangerous wind as more of his clothing is lightly torn up. As he fell, he launches another dragon at the spinning terror, only to see it be torn up easily. But that was all Kiba and Akamaru could do, their chakra was drained. The boy and the dog reappeared as soon as the twin-headed dog vanished. Hitsugaya flew back up as soon as the creature disappeared. Kiba held Akamaru close to him, eventually sensing a cold air flow through him. Turning, Hitsugaya emerged from below. Several cuts on his clothing and some on his skin, he didn't look too happy. Kiba looked in fear, with his chakra drained there was nothing more he could do. The swordsman raised his sword and flapped his wings. Several fireballs passed in front of him, stopping him in his tracks. Turning to their source, another great big fireball was flying right at him. He easily dodged it by flying around. But Shino sending his bugs all around where he stood, shooting balls of flame at rapid speed. The boy swordsman flies around quickly dodging all the fireballs until he decides to charge in straight on. Hitsugaya's surprising agility makes him a hard target to hit. Shino is surprised at the rapid speed of movement the swordsman could pull off. The sword hit Shino right at the heart. The bug user and anything behind him froze as a cold gust of wind blew through. The frozen Shino turned black and bugs took his place. Hitsugaya stared wide-eyed as there were several explosive tags where the bugs were. The tags inside the ice exploded in his face, creating a cloud of mist and smoke. Naruto quickly jumped out of the way as many of the leader's floating swords came down on him. He aces on all fours to get to the kidnapper, only to suddenly change directions when several swords blocked his path. The man flashed stepped in front of Naruto's path, swords at the ready as more of his blades went straight for him. Naruto jumped around those oncoming projectiles and continued towards his target. Byakuya flash-stepped towards Naruto and brought his swords down on him. Naruto turned around fast, causing the swordsman to hit one of his own swords, which was held by the tail of chakra. What is that chakra? Naruto brought his face low to the ground and catapulted himself into the swordsman's face. His opponent flash-stepped back and sent many more blades. The tail threw the weapon it had towards the projectiles. A couple swords crashed into it and vanished as pink petals. Naruto had to quickly dodge the rest to keep from being impaled. But Byakuya was soon sending swords from above, forcing the fox boy to bounce off of the blades themselves to keep moving. The tail cat chests another sword as he was escaping above the storm of swords. The red aura extended itself to surround the sword as well. Byakuya tries to control the captured to remove it from the tail's grip. Much to his great surprise, he couldn't. The aura must somehow be preventing his control from reaching the sword. Sending more of his weapons to the boy, he surrounds him on all sides. The blades come in at an alarming rate. Thanks to the Kyuubi's added senses and agility, Naruto was able to keep moving, even catching two swords with his hands and later covering them with his aura. The fox boy roared at the hundreds of swords below him, destroying them all as more flew in around him. Using the swords against each other, Naruto swings them wildly, effectively cutting up many of the projectiles while dodging them at the same time. Byakuya assumes that the boy's own power is being added to that of the swords, which is why the swords he holds is stronger the ones coming at him. Naruto continues to pit sword against sword, even throwing the ones he has and grabbing some new ones over and over again. Byakuya tightens the grip on the blades he himself holds, adding more power to them. Naruto destroys more swords as they come, finally landing on the ground. Byakuya flash steps in front of Naruto, surprising the boy. They clashed swords, racing around each other and the flying swords. The words they held sparked whenever they connected. Flying around, the two combatants danced all over, avoiding the wild blades, Naruto destroying them as Byakuya controls them. They jump into the air. Byakuya copies Naruto's idea by bouncing off the swords as they trade blows with each other. Naruto just swings wildly. Normally Byakuya would have no problem whatsoever with this kind of opponent, but the speed, Strength and the third sword proved to be a match for him. They climbed higher and higher, jumping off the swords to continue their ascent. The blades clashed again, Naruto and Byakuya Air staring into each other's eyes face to face. "You'll never be able to save her," the leader told the boy in his usual emotionless tone. They traded blows a few more times before the kidnapper speaks again. "I will see to it." Byakuya knocks Naruto away. The fox boy bounces off of some blades and stands on the cliff wall. The swordsman was also standing on the wall, staring straight down at his opponent, who was showing off an angry look. "If that is your power, then I will crush all of it." Lightning crashes as a huge portion of the cliff above Byakuya crumbled. Naruto hugs the wall a little closer with his hands and knees. The leader turns around to cut up a piece of rock coming towards him and disappears in the dust. Hitsugaya flies out of the smoke and mist, coughing. He uses his wings to blow away whatever was left. But he couldn't believe he fell for that. Twin rising dragons. Hearing the girl's voice, he turns to find it. The direction he turned to had a great deal of aerial weapons flying straight for him. The swordsman uses his wings as a shield and deflects and dodges what he could, barely making it out with getting hit. The projectiles were scattered all through. Out the branches around him and on his wings. "It's not over," the kunoichi shouted. Hitsugaya just notices the strings on her fingers, a whole lot of them. The weapons she threw earlier were led out from where they were and flew in from all directions towards the flying boy. Unable to defend himself on all sides, the girl launches an all-around assault. Several of the projectiles pierced through the boy's skin, as he did his best to get out of their way. Tenten smiles. There's no way he could have survived that. The boy she hit started to become as blue as the ice around him. He cracked, then shattered into cold crystal pieces. "An ice clone." Tenten looks around. "Behind you," Shino pointed out. The girl turns around, seeing the boy floating in the air at a great distance. Hitsugaya looks up at his flowers. "Only 2 petals remain. I don't have much time left. And Soi Fong hasn't come. There's no way it takes this long for her to finish her fights. That must mean that she's dead. I better get out of here and meet up with Byakuya." He charges his sword hand with his chakra, creating another blue dragon aura, only bigger than the ones before. Tenten, Shino and Kiba look in fear. The boy levitates higher and charges straight forward. All 3 of the Konoha genin dive out of the way as fast as they can. The dragon and the boy just fly by them, freezing everything in its path. The 3 ninja watch closely as the ice dragon and the white-haired kid disappear into the distance. It was Kiba who figured out what is happening. He's going to go back to his leader. "Naruto can't fight both of them at the same time," Shino said. "We have to go after him," Tenten told them. "Shino, can you melt the ice around Neji's legs? We need everyone we can get." "Understood." Kiba and Shino jump off to where Neji is sitting as Tenten looks in the direction the dragon boy went. "Naruto, please hurry and save Hinata. We'll be there to help you soon." The fox boy charged up the cliff, swords in hand and tail. The closest rock was cut up as he moved to another rock. The leader's swords were still flying, through and around the debris. Naruto jumped from rock to rock, blade to blade, cutting up both the stones and swords. Byakuya cut through a boulder to clash with the boy. They swung their weapons towards each other, with extreme speed and power. The flash of connection between their swords grew brighter with each attack. They bounced off from rocks and swords as they attacked, climbing as the debris falls. The swords clashed again, locked in a stalemate. Both fighters look into each other's eyes. Byakuya's swords fly in, shattering the ones Naruto was holding. The fox spins, the leader brings his swords down, destroying the tail sword. Naruto leaps in close, grabbing the man's white vest. The boy headbutts the leader hard enough to send him flying upwards. Hundreds of swords appeared and flew towards Naruto. He roars out loud, shattering the blades, including the ones Byakuya himself held, and cracking several big rocks. Naruto quickly jumps up to the kidnapper. The fox boy gave a hard punch to the face, followed by another punch. Then a kick to the chest, sending the older man higher. Finally, the boy's tail is launched at the target, hitting square at the heart, pushing him up through many rocks and into the sky. "What is she to you?" Hitsugaya's Bankai had shattered. He leaves the falling ice crystals behind as he continues on foot. His chakra is low, the swordsman wouldn't be able to do much else now. He could sense that something wasn't right. Byakuya's chakra was at its peak. But this other chakra he's sensing, is it the boy? That's impossible. How could a boy like that have so much chakra? Then again, he shouldn't be one to talk. He found the clearing before the cliff. All he could see was Hinata laying there and no one else. Byakuya flew up from the cliff, being pushed upwards by a thick red chakra. Byakuya. Hitsugaya couldn't believe what he was seeing. Byakuya's sword sliced up the strange chakra holding the leader, causing it to let go and retract. But the chakra grabbed hold of the cliff edge. Naruto was catapulted upwards. Above the cliff. Who is that kid? To force Byakuya to use Senki Senbon Sakura Kageyoshi. There's no way anyone could make him use that, not even high-level Junins. Is he even human? Is he a demon? Byakuya launched some more swords at Naruto. He doesn't have that many left. Naruto's tail was able to grab one of them. A couple pierced the boy, yet the chakra aura dissolved them and healed the wounds rapidly. The fox boy held out his arm. A huge amount of chakra began to concentrate there, whirling around in a ball. What is that? What's he doing? Hitsugaya's EY's shivered as he could feel the immense chakra gather that the fox boy's hand. He's going to use a very powerful attack, that's all he knows. Both of them were still high in the sky, but he knew the battle is about to end as thunder rolls through the air. You are at your limit, Byakuya told the fox. This one attack will settle this. Byakuya gathered his remaining swords in front of him, creating a flat shield of 100 blades. Hinata, I'm not going to take back my words, that's my way of the ninja. Hinata, do your best. When you cheered me on, I felt like I had become stronger than before. I didn't know Hinata was so tough. She's very similar to you. After the preliminaries, I was able to like myself a little more. I think I was able to change. Don't stop the match. Hey, Naruto. What are you talking about, stupid? She can't fight anymore. She fainted. I can still. Guardian of 8 divination seals. 64 strikes. No way. Hinata is doing such a cool just you. The Hinata you once knew is no more. I may look strong from your point of view, but I always screw up, and I just act strong because I'm mad. That's not true. Even if you did make a mistake, you were always, from my point of view, a proud man who makes lots of mistakes. When I looked at you, there was this impact on my heart. Come to think of it, she's always been watching you. You're not perfect. You make mistakes, and you get stronger from them. I believe that is true strength. Naruto-kun, you are a strong person. Thank you, Hinata. Rasengan. Lightning crashed as Naruto's chakra ball collided with Byakuya's shield of blades. A large explosion blew the surrounding air away at intense speed. Hitsugaya covered his face with his arms to block the wind and the bright light from the explosion. Neji, Tenten, Shino and Kiba heard the loud noise. They hid behind some trees to stay out of the huge gust of wind. What's happening? Neji asked. I don't know, Shino answered. I think it's Naruto. Kiba called out. Naruto. Tenten was worried. Naruto was by himself against the leader of the 3 when Guy and Lee battled one and the 4 of them battled another. Who knows how strong the leader was? The wind continued to blow as a huge cloud of smoke appeared in the sky. As the wind dies, Hitsugaya looked up. There was no sign of either fighter in that cloud. Byakuya fell from the huge puff of smoke. Whatever swords he had left he let fly wildly inside. Hitsugaya didn't ease up because of it though. The smoke was just starting to clear. A long red hand flew towards Byakuya. With little time to react, the sword was thrust through the heart. The cloud disappeared and Naruto could clearly see that he hit his mark, not a moment too soon as the fox's chakra began to vanish, meaning Naruto was at his limit. Hitsugaya stood wide-eyed as his leader fell, with the sword right through his body, landing on the ground. Naruto also fell onto the ground face down. But still alive, still conscious. He could still see what's around him, just wasn't able to move too much. The sword that had pierced Byakuya vanishes, in a bright display of pink light. Hitsugaya stared at the body of his former captain. It was an impossible sight, a mere boy defeating a missing nin from lost heaven. Keeping strong, He walks over to the fallen boy, slowly drawing his sword from the scabbard behind him. A few drops of rain hit the two of them. Naruto hears the footsteps of the white-haired kid, turning his body around to see the sky. Hitsugaya's sword flashed before his eyes as the rain began to pour. Who? No, what are you? Hey! Naruto gives his confident smile. I'm Naruto Uzumaki, the next Hokage. How did you defeat Byakuya? Wouldn't you like to know? Naruto questioned. Once I get up, you're next. Is this really the power of friendship? No, we've fought many battles before where that was a factor. All it did was delay the inevitable. Our opponents had surprised us time and again with their talk of friendship, but, these genin, with the sword still above Naruto, Hitsugaya turns to look at Hinata. They weren't like those enemies. Everyone we fought in the past were either Junin, or skilled Chunin, in small groups. And we took care of them all without breaking a sweat. Yet, he takes a look back at Naruto. Who was still staring back at him in a cold glare. Those 4 genin from before, their level of power is beyond that of a regular Chunin. I am certain that it was because they were close friends with that girl. This boy is another story. Whatever power he called from, it was just enough to kill Byakuya. It can't be any kind of friendship of any kind, it had to be something else, but what could it be? Hitsugaya pulls his sword away from Naruto and walked towards the sleeping girl. Lightning crashes down once more as Naruto rolled over to his belly to see what the swordsman was doing. Hey, where are you going? He yelled. Get back here. You will continue to pursue me as long as the girl is alive, right? Hitsugaya questioned him. What will you do once I kill her? Realizing this, Naruto tries to move as hard as he could in his weakened state. His muscles ache all over, but he couldn't feel it. All he cared about was getting to Hinata before that swordsman does. She is the reason you're still alive. The swordsman started. She's the reason you were able to defeat Byakuya. The only reason. Why? Because I won't let you hurt any of my friends. That's why. I've seen friendship in battle. Hitsugaya told him. It barely makes a difference. To do what you did, it had to be more than friendship. It had to be something strong than that, much stronger. When I saw your last moments against Byakuya, all I could see was a demon. You were more than a human to care this much for a mere friend. To turn into something else in order to save her. What is she to you? Like I care what you think. Naruto cries out, still struggling to move. Get back here so I can beat you. Hitsugaya stood over the sleeping girl, the rain pounding down everywhere, so now, you can't do anything else. I may have lost Byakuya and Soi Fong, I may have lost my own battle, but I can still be victorious in the war. I can still complete my mission, and even if I can't, at least you won't be able to complete yours. Hitsugaya slowly brings his sword above his head, ready to stab it through the girl. Naruto's heart beats faster and faster. Move, move, move. I won't lose you, Hinata. I'll never let that happen. Even if I have to die saving her, I'll gladly do it. If I am dead anyway, I'll be your guardian angel. Hinata. Lightning sparks through the sky, thunder roars through the air. Hitsugaya brings his sword down, piercing the body, drawing blood. Paradise lost. Lightning sparks through the sky, thunder roars through the air. Hitsugaya brings his sword down, piercing the body, drawing blood. Naruto is on both knees and one hand. Hitsugaya looks on at the scene. Somehow Naruto was able to move himself over Hinata. The sword went through his back on one side and a hand holding the blade tight just before it even touched her. The rain just keeps coming down. It has hard to tell whether it was the rain or if Naruto was really crying. The blonde boy coughed out blood beside Hinata's body. His blood on the sword dripping onto her jacket. Hitsugaya pulled out his sword. Naruto winced as he regained balance. The swordsman swung it hard to get rid of the blood on the blade. He had no strength to move. He moved here through sheer will. Naruto struggles to stay up. He looks at Hinata, smiling as either rain or tears roll down his face. With one hand, he strokes her face gently, Hinata. With the last of his energy gone, he fainted. All the while Hitsugaya looks at them, lightning crashing in the distance. Neji, Tenten, Shino and Kiba race through the forest as fast as they can. Tenten notices the tears running down Neji's cheeks. She has never seen him like this before. She begins to shed tears of her own. hoping that he, Hinata and Naruto will be okay. The forest ends. A clearing makes itself known. They can all see the cliff that ends the clearing before them. Look, Shino pointed. They all turned to see the body of the kidnapper, the one T. Hat led the woman and the white-haired kid. There he lay, at the center of a pool made of a familiar red liquid. Where's Hinata? Kiba asked. Over there. Neji ran off closer to the cliff, the rest followed. They got closer to see Hinata's jacket, overjoyed that she's all right. They all ran closer to the glorious view. However, they froze. Underneath the jacket was a very bloody Naruto, very still, unmoving. Hinata's jacket was merely placed on top of him. Hinata herself was nowhere to be found. Hinata-sama, it can't be. Neji dropped on both knees, even more water flowed down his face. Hinata-sama, he dropped on his hands. Rain and tears hitting the ground below him. Neji, Tenten looks at her partner, worried about him and Hinata. We can still. Neji picked himself up, he ran towards the cliff edge. Neji stop, Tenten yelled out. In an instant a fist gutted Neji, knocking him out. Kakashi grabbed him as he fell. I'm sorry, there's no way we can find him like this. Kakashi. Shino was the first to speak. What do we do now? This mission, Kakashi began. As much as it pains me to say it, has failed. Asuma and his team are bringing Guy, Lee and Kurenai back to Konoha as we speak. Someone take Neji. I'll carry Naruto. Kiba and Shino go forward to take Neji. They and Tenten leave Kakashi as he picks up his student, Kuchiki Byakuya, missing Nin from the land of lost heaven. From what I heard of his powers, I don't think even I would have stood a chance. Yet Naruto, whenever his friends are in danger, he already makes the impossible possible. This is something else entirely. To defeat someone like Byakuya, you wanted to save Hinata even more so than when you chased Sasuke. Naruto. Kakashi puts Hinata's jacket on Naruto to protect him from the rain. As the boy's own clothes were almost non-existent, he carried his student away and heads back to Konoha. Night time was quiet. The rain had stopped long before, with the sky clearing at nightfall. The stars and moon shone down on the forest, creating glitters all around with the drops of water scattered throughout. It was a sight to behold indeed, the glowing stars, the shining forest. Hitsugaya sat awake, staring at his mission objective. He had placed his white vest on top of her to keep her warm, being an ice user is comfortable with the cold. She stirred, the sleeping spell had run its course. She got up and rubbed her eyes with a yawn. The girl shivered a little, realizing she didn't have her coat and that it had rained, so she put the boy's jacket around her. Looking around Hinata finds that it was just her and the boy she spoke with earlier. There wasn't even a fire, even her coat disappeared. But what she could see, is that the boy had sad eyes. She dared not speak to him at this moment. It was he that spoke first. You want to know what happened, right? Without making a sound, she nodded. The rescue team came after us. They killed my captain and my teammate, that leaves only me. I'm sorry. It's my fault, isn't it? If anyone should be sorry, it's me, he told her. The rescue was made up of your friends and a relative. They fought hard, harder than I thought possible to save you. I decided to leave your coat behind, so that they will at least have a little of you left, even when you die. Hinata began to worry some more. Her friends did come after her then. But they failed. They're still alive, he reassured her. However, he draws his sword and points it to her. Don't think you'll escape me. I'll deliver you myself, with or without your cooperation. The hostage stays silent. The swordsman puts his sword away. I had to retreat because I was the only one left, that and I ran out of chakra. I told you what had happened. But there is one thing you should really know. Hinata was relieved to hear about her friends. Now she listens to Hitsugaya's words, curious about what he's going to say to her. I was certain all of us were Junin level. That changed when we battled them. My captain, Byakuya, is the strongest of the three of us. He was killed by only one of your friends, a genin killing a missing nin. That boy was fighting to get you back. That was the only thing on his mind. He even gave me his name before losing all of his power, Uzumaki Naruto. Hinata's head started to feel very warm, turning red. Her heart beats faster. Hitsugaya looks away to stare the forest's dancing lights. He stopped at nothing to save you, even risking his own life. That Naruto really cared for you, Hinata. He heard a light rustle. Turning back to her, she seemed to have mysteriously fallen. Apparently, you have some feelings for him too. Hitsugaya stares back towards his surrounds. The glittering lights were the last he saw before going to sleep. Soon the girl will die, or perhaps she's already dead. Naruto runs as fast as he could. He found Hinata encased in a cube of ice. As he calls out to her, "Ag." Yont dragon of ice drops from the sky and swallows her whole. Hinata. Naruto suddenly got up, surprising Sakura. He looks around. He was in a hospital all bandaged up. Outside it was all cloudy. Sakura. How's Hinata? Sakura turned away quietly. Naruto, still in pain, opens the window and is about to jump out. No, Naruto, don't. Sakura cried. She grabbed him from behind and held him back. Let go of me, Sakura. I have to go get Hinata back. Naruto struggled to break free through his pain. Naruto, listen to me. Sakura's voice started to shiver a little. It's been 3 days. Naruto sighed. Denli stopped moving and sat back down on the bed. Sakura pulls him closer as water forms in her eyes. Tsunade had half of Anbu looking for her. All they found was one of their groups frozen in ice. Kakashi said that the boy would have made it back to Lost Heaven by now. She couldn't hold in her emotion any longer. She let it all out on his back, her tears in her voice. They're declaring her dead. Naruto's eyes widened as Sakura returned to her seat, her eyes overflowing. He turned to her slowly. That can't be. There's no way Hinata is dead, it's just not possible. He bowed his head. Sakura could see drops of water flowing down his face and dripping to the blanket. The Hyugas are going to hold a funeral for Hinata tomorrow, she told him in the strongest voice she can. Normally only clan members are allowed. They're making an exception for her. You don't have to come, Naruto. She's not dead. Naruto's tears continued to fall. He tried to hold them back but he couldn't. She's not. Unable to see him like this anymore, Sakura quietly left the room. Hinata. To be continued, and thank you for watching.